Recently I've taken to using a particular model for evaluating what I've learnt in my life, and that model is to basically compare the way I would react to something now versus how I would react to it when I was, say, 12 or 13 years old. As an example, last week I was walking through the park here in Kuala Lumpur. It's a beautiful park, and I saw a family, a Chinese family. The mother was talking to her daughter and her husband and pointing and saying something in, I believe it was Mandarin. And I used this model. I said to myself, what would 13-year-old me have said if I was in the context of where I was when I grew up? And I was a bit ashamed to realize that I probably would have made fun or something like that. And then I reflected, why would that have been? Why would I have reacted like that? Again, as I said, potentially the context in which I was living and so on and so forth. But then I realized, reflecting on how I react now, is I wonder what she was saying. What would I have to do to understand what she was saying? And then it kind of dawned on me. I had a realization. My immature, ignorant teenage mind at the time was just trying to justify its status, because I knew that in order to learn to understand, I would have to spend a long time. I kind of subconsciously knew that. Now, I don't know how many years later, how many decades later, as some of you may know, I'm married to an Indonesian lady, and I spent a long time in Kuwait in the Middle East. So I've spent a long time studying Indonesian and Arabic and learning them and speaking to the people. And that process of learning requires patience and humility. And the ego doesn't like patience and humility, especially as a teenager. And not only that, but if you read about different languages, you'll find that Mandarin, as an example, and Arabic are two of the most difficult languages to learn in terms of the time and effort it takes to become fluent. As my mind was doing its tangential exploration of multiple thought streams and threads, it popped into my head the principle of seek first to understand, then to be understood. The famous principle by Steven Covey in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which I'm always banging on about in my videos. One of the most beautiful things in this life is the ability and the chance to learn, to understand, to gain knowledge, beneficial knowledge, which we can then apply in our lives. Imagine the joy you could get from talking in any person's language, especially Chinese, one of the most difficult languages to learn. Imagine if you could speak that language, express yourself in that language, talk to people from the different culture in that language. You'd understand so much more. And at that point, making fun would no longer be an option. You kind of consider yourself immersed in, part of, aligned with, an understanding of the culture and the people. And yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Anyway, I hope this video is of some use. If you enjoyed it or you want to see more or you liked it, yeah, please let me know.